Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, babies in their diapers, welcome to the Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius Boy.
That's me, Tiberius.
Today, we're going to talk about some very awesome stuff. We have a video about running at a gas station, and a book about smashing the history of Pearl Harbor, and we have a totally awesome guest. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Vince Spinnato. Vince is a cosmetic chemist and has a certified nose.
How are you, my friend?
Pretty good. How are you?
That's a pretty good intro. I'll take that. You have you walk around with me.
Today we're going to start off with the video of the week, and this is going to be a gas station.
And now it's time for the video game of the week.
Today's video game is Gas Station Simulator. This game is made by Block Studio. Because it's on Roblox, you are able to play it on PC, Mac, Xbox, and even your cell phone. And it is free. You might remember Block Studio from their other game, Blocks RP. So first off, you appear in a desert at a gas station and there is nothing around for miles. It is dusty and a lot of stuff looks broken. As you walk around, you can see things that you can do. You can run the register, stock shelves, and buy new stock. You could even buy gas and fill up customers' gas tanks.
How about just call an Uber if you get stuck? That's what I would do. Or a chopper.
Well, at first, the station is closed and you get time to stock the shelves. You are allowed access to basic items like water and cookies. You also get a small amount of gas to start. Everyone in the game is working together. When the station opens, people drive up and you get to fill up the tank. Someone else might run the register and sell them some water. Afterwards, you get paid. The station also gets to make a profit. Now you have a choice. You can use the profit to upgrade parts of the station slowly, or you can use your own money that you were paid. Each person makes a choice for themselves. If you have a team willing to use their pay to improve the station, you will grow very fast and upgrades will be able to offer ice cream and even hot dogs. I got my dad to try and he was very good. He always used his salary to buy more gas and increase the profits. I give Gas Station Simulator 7 out of 10 stars because even though my dad really liked it, I kind of felt it like I was going to work. And while I'm a little bit allergic to doing hard work, but it was fun to play with my dad for a little bit, but I got kind of bored really fast.
The Tiberius Show would like to thank one of their dedicated sponsors, Custom Designs Orlando. These guys are on Mills Avenue and do all sorts of stuff, ranging from photo ID badges, engraved signs, custom braille ADA signs, vinyl lettering to trophies and awards. The cool part about Custom Designs is they can ship products all over the United States. You can reach them at 407-898-0373 and tell them that
Tiberius
sent you.
Now it's time for the book of the week, History Smashers Pearl Harbor. This book was written by Kate Messner. Let me read to the back of the book. In fact, Vince, would you like to do the honors?
Sure, I'd love to. So, Myths, Lies, Secrets. Smash the stories behind the famous moments in history and expose the hidden truths. On December 7th, 1941, Japan launched a completely unpredictable attack on the U.S. Navy base at Pearl Harbor, Hawaii, right? Wrong. Some military experts have suggested that Pearl Harbor was a likely target, but nobody paid much attention. In fact, the commanders were more worried about people sneaking onto the base and sabotaging planes than on the attack.
Wow.
Discovered a notification series, and it smashes everything you thought you knew about history.
This is an hour book that is worth 3 points. It's rated for 6th grade and 9th month. This is a great series about myths and lies about history. So this book is pretty cool. They take a subject and follow it through history and find out all the misconceptions that people used to think about it. This one's about the attack on Pearl Harbor, which was a Navy base in Hawaii. So the book starts off with the fact that the military knew that Pearl Harbor was a main target, but they disagreed with how they were going to attack it. They talked about one airman that woke up and got in his plane within 2 minutes wearing his PJs. He battled in the skies and was shot up with a damaged wing, and he landed safely still in his PJs. The book also talks about the fact that the planner of the attack, Mr. Yamamoto, was worried that it would make the United States angry and launch a war that Japan could not win. He ended up being right about it. Many in Japan was not sure if it was a good idea. I give the History Smashers Pearl Harbor 9 out of 10 stars because I really liked the series and was very surprised that the famous photo of the soldiers raising the flag on Iwo Jima was really the second time it was raised. The first photographer broke his camera and the shot was not very dramatic, so they used the second shot with a larger flag from a different photographer. And now it's time for an interview of an interesting person. Today's guest is going to be so much fun. Today we have the one, the only, the amazing Vince Spinnato. Vince is a cosmetic chemist and has a certified nose, which means he really knows what something smells like.
That's very true. Hello, my friend.
Hello. So first off, how are you enjoying being on the show?
I think you were absolutely delightful. This is really fun, and you're doing good.
Thank you.
I appreciate you having me.
So you were listed as a cosmetic chemist. Can you explain to my listeners exactly what that means?
Yeah. So what that means is I develop beauty products, so hair care, skin care, bath and body, manicure, pedicure, even baby products, pet products. So we have a R&D lab where we develop the products from scratch, and then eventually they'll end up on the open market.
Wow. So how did you get interested in becoming a cosmetic chemist?
Believe it or not, I actually got interested about the same age that you are. You're definitely too young for this, but there's still a show on TV called The Young and the Restless, which is a soap opera. And I watched that show growing up, and they had a fictitious cosmetic company on the show called Jabot. And that's actually where I got the idea from. So I actually got the idea from a TV show, and I just fell in love with it.
Wow. So how long have you been doing this?
Now I've been doing it for about 26 years, since 1995.
Wow. So do you make skin creams and perfumes, or do you just make it for both boys and girls?
We do both, actually. So we do fragrances and skincare for men, for women. Fragrances also can be unisex, meaning they can be for boys and girls both. So we do all that.
So how did you know that this was the go-to job for you?
I just kind of it kind of called me when I was getting around your age, and I just kind of stuck to it. I started developing fragrance bottles and even designs and stuff when I was about your age, actually. So I really never changed my mind what I wanted to do. I just followed my dream and my path.
So how does being a cosmetic chemist make the world a better place?
Why don't it make the world a better place? Make people look a hell of a lot better. That's for sure. I don't think we'd want to have a world without cosmetics and beauty products. That's for sure.
Does it take a lot of formal training to become a cosmetic chemist?
Yeah, it takes a while. I went to college for organic chemistry. There's not really a cosmetic chemistry major in the United States. You have to kind of develop it yourself. So once I finished my chemistry degree, then I went and actually worked with other beauty companies so I can learn how to learn from them on the job.
Wow. So what is the best part about doing this type of work?
I personally love it. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm doing something that makes people feel better about themselves, that they feel like the way they look better or feel better or they have cleaner hair or whatever it would be. So at the end of the day, it's a very good, rewarding product to work on.
What is that one thing that when you started to work in this field that you did not expect?
What I did not expect is that it actually is very, very hard and difficult to get a product to the market. It takes a long time. You have to go through a bunch of FDA regulatory testing to get it actually ready to go. So it's a very long legal process as well too, rather than just working on the formulas.
Okay. But what's the hardest part about being a cosmetic chemist?
I think the hardest part is that it's almost like a 24/7 job. These products that we develop take a long time. I own my own company, so there's not really any downtime for it. So you're always on the go, always working in the lab, always traveling to different states and countries, working with your clients. So it's really a very you're very busy all the time. It's kind of the hardest part.
Okay. So is being a cosmetic chemist a good business to be in?
I think so. Yeah, there's not really a lot of us out there. I mean, you probably haven't met too many cosmetic chemists. It's an unusual, field. But if you think about it, pretty much every person either washes their face or shaves or brushes their teeth and washes their hair. So everyone's kind of using a beauty product in some ways. That's why there's so many products that are out there.
So what have you learned about yourself while doing this type of work?
I learned that I really enjoyed what I do, and I'm really happy I followed my own passion. That's always my advice. If you have a dream and you want to do something, definitely stick with it. Don't let anybody talk you out of it. And I learned that you really can make your own passion happen if you just follow your own guidance.
Okay. Now, you have made products for some very famous people like Michael Jordan and Jessica Simpson. Do you get to meet the famous people that you work for, or do you just talk to you on Zoom?
No, I do meet them in person. Actually, when I did this, Zoom didn't exist yet, so it really was old school, always in person. Even to this day, we still meet in person, and eventually, now that we have this new technology and Zooming and all this stuff, we now after we meet them the first or second time, then it kind of goes more to like Zooming and that kind of thing.
Okay. So who was the one person that you were so excited to be able to meet or work with?
For me, for sure, it was Jennifer Lopez. She was one of my first really large celebrity clients in the very late 90s. I worked on a product for her called Still, which is her second fragrance, which is still on the market today. We worked with a whole team of perfumers on that, so she was one of the biggest stars I worked with, and really a lovely person and a great businesswoman.
Mm-hmm. Do you turn into a fanboy when you get to talk with very famous celebrities?
I actually really don't. I'm not really a starstruck person because I think because I worked with so many of them, I'm more of the generation. Like if I met like they're not alive anymore. You probably know who they even are, but like a Bob Hope or a
Mm-hmm.
Katharine Hepburn or Ella Fitzgerald, the ones of these celebrities that are really I consider Hollywood royalty. I think I would have been very starstruck by them, but really now I work with so many of them. Like just they're all just kind of normal people to me.
Mm-hmm. So what advice would you give to my listeners if they wanted to go up and be a cosmetic chemist?
Really, the first thing is just find you want to find the university or college you want to go to, in minor and major, or either one of the two in chemistry. Then once you have that part done, then you can very easily work with a collaboration with beauty companies around the United States or around the world for that matter.
Mm-hmm. Now, my dad told me that you are making your own line of products. Can you tell me about that?
Yes, my product line is called Caviar and Diamond. It's a very high-end, prestigious skincare line that actually has diamond syrup, which is diamond dust, and caviar extract in it. So it really is a full immersive experience with oceanic elements from the ocean and also earth metals from the earth that help replenish your skin. So it's a full anti-aging skincare regimen that you definitely do not need yet.
Mm-hmm. Now, my dad said that you made a fragrance for Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz. How did you get to work on such a cool project?
That one was amazing. It was Judy Garland, who was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, and her family, specifically her daughter Lorna Luff, got a hold of my book and my skincare line, and she reached out to me and said, my mother would have been turning 100 years old in June of 2022, which just passed, and we wanted
Mm-hmm.
to do a fragrance for her. So they reached out to me, and we started collaborating on it right away. And like again, if I would have met a Judy Garland, to your point earlier, I would have been starstruck by her for sure.
Mm-hmm. So, do you know how to make any smell I can think of?
Yeah, I think so. It depends. It doesn't mean it's always going to turn out being good, but you really can put everything together. That's part of the chemistry is being able to play with all different notes and see what you actually like and don't like, and you can always change everything from there.
Okay. Okay, speaking of smells, you have a certified nose? Can you explain what that means?
Yes, that is a weird one. You're correct. So what that actually means is my nose is actually certified and insured for $1 million. So if I ever hurt or break my nose, I get like insurance for it. So it's like kind of like if you were like you probably don't know who the Rockettes were, but the Rockettes are a famous dance club out of Rockefeller Center in New York City, and like all the Rockettes' legs are insured if they ever hurt their legs so they can't dance. So it's kind of that kind of thing. If your craft is affected by an accident or an illness, you get insurance for that. I can't do my job without my nose. Long story
Mm-hmm.
short.
I see that you have been interviewed by lots of people about your skills. What is the one question that people ask you way too many times?
Probably like what I would be doing if I didn't do this, and I still don't know what the answer would be because I don't think I'd be doing anything else.
Okay. Well, what is that one question that you wish that they would ask you?
I think I like to always hear that if I'm really passionate and I like what I'm doing, because I think a lot of people, unfortunately, are stuck in some jobs and stuff because they just had to make money, which is where I started off that way. But then I really end up loving what I'm doing, so I just always kind of just want to advocate to people to really follow their passion, not just get a job just to pay your bills if you can avoid it.
Mm-hmm. Well, what is the craziest thing that has happened while you were doing your job?
Oh, oh God, there's actually many of them. I actually fell in a tank one day, a big gigantic tank, making a mixture, and I actually fell into the batch. So we didn't use that obviously, but I got a little bit of very heavy moisturized.
Ew.
Yeah, it was not delightful.
I'm sure. Well, what is the greatest challenge that most cosmetic chemists are dealing with today?
Our biggest challenge is really keeping up with the trends because as new ingredients and new technology changes, you have to always kind of be ahead of what the industry is doing. So you have to do a lot of research and make sure you're always being trend driven with when the products that you're developing. Make sure all your ingredients are the newest and the hottest and the greatest.
So who helped motivate or inspire you the most in following your dreams?
With my parents, they always said they always were very very helpful and you know and appreciative of what I wanted to do. They never tried to talk me out of it. So that was always great to have that support from the very beginning. They thought I was nuts, but they never wanted to talk me out of it. They said I was just they didn't know what it even was.
Do what you
I didn't.
want.
That's right.
What message do you want to tell children all over the world about being a cosmetic chemist?
I think it's really about we need more. We always need more scientists in the world, whether it's in beauty or pharmaceutical or drug research or anything. So I think it doesn't necessarily have to be, a message about going into beauty chemistry. But I think you're studying and wanting to be interested in science is really important. That's I like to always encourage that with younger people if possible.
Now, I also know that you're an author. Can you tell me a little bit about your book?
Yes, I wrote a book called My Pursuit of Beauty, and I did it with a ghostwriter, meaning I told my story to somebody else, and she actually had the skill
Wrote it?
set. Nikki Goodman in Atlanta, Georgia. She was brilliant, and she took my story and put it into a comprehensive book. So really, it's a story of how I got into the beauty industry and why I wanted to be into it and why I continue to be into it, and all the major things that happened along the way, which has been a lot of them.
I'm sure. Well, I run a radio show and podcast that talks about God, German, Lion Strong segment. Maybe we'll get to that after this, or a couple after.
Yeah.
So how do you include God's message in your work?
I go with God with everything I do. I just whether I'm praying or whether I follow my intuition, or I always think my intuition is really kind of a God wink, as one of my friends always kind of call it that. So that's why I always try and follow my intuition, which I think is kind of God leading you on your path.
So when you were a kid, what did you want to do when you grew up? Did you always know that you were going to be a cosmetic chemist?
I did actually, as far as I can remember, at least to starting about 10 or 11 or 12 years old. I did have that idea from watching the show I mentioned to you, The Young and the Restless, and I stuck. I never changed my mind. I really was always wanted to do the same thing.
Well, if you could go back 10 years and tell yourself something, what would it be?
Don't do what I'm doing. after I said all that, it's really a hard thing to get going if you're gonna be more of an entrepreneur. Of course, I can very easily go work for a cosmetic company, but I own my own company, and I started it when I was 19 years old. So I was very young, and so it was really I don't know if I necessarily would go that route again. It was really hard in the beginning.
So what was the first job that you ever had?
The first job I ever had was working in a video store, which you probably don't know what the hell that even is because you're so young, but we had to rent VCR tapes to watch them, and I actually worked in a video store renting VCR tapes. You know what a VCR is? You don't, do you?
No.
No.
But I do know a ton of video recording setups.
All right. Do you know what a rotary phone is?
No.
We're screwed.
But my dad is in a rotary group, but yeah, about
That's right.
that. Other than that. Was there anything you learned from that job that helped you to be a better cosmetic chemist?
What it actually wasn't about the cosmetic chemistry. I just knew that I wanted to work for myself. So that really helped me. I'm not I'm very insubordinate. I don't really listen really well to people, so I definitely need to be my own boss. That's for sure.
What was the biggest mistake you ever made, and how did it change you as a person?
Biggest mistake I ever made was probably I grew up in New Jersey and I moved to California when I was 18 years old, and that was probably my biggest mistake. I had no support or friends there, so I probably wouldn't do that again. I probably would maybe just be a little more situated in my area where I grew up before I would have moved out across the whole country.
So since you have worked with so many famous people, who was that one person that you would love to work with?
That I haven't worked with yet, probably Lady Gaga. I really like her a lot, or Madonna. Those are two of my favorites. I would like to maybe do some work with them if it was possible.
So when you're not working, what do you do for fun?
I have a beautiful 200-pound English Mastiff dog, Savannah, and we like to take her to the dog park and hang out with her. I'm a big movie fan, so I personally love horror movies, so I watch a lot of horror. So
Have you watched Stranger Things?
I do, and I love it. Yeah, so anything in the horror genre, I love it. It actually relaxes me, which is pretty weird. So I try and spend some time watching movies and stuff.
Do you still watch soap operas?
Once in a while, I do, yep.
Okay. Well, do you play video games? And if you do, what's your favorite one?
I actually don't play video games. I did play them growing up as a kid.
Not even on your phone?
I don't actually. No, I'm more of a. I like to watch TikTok now more than anything else. I don't participate and do anything, but I just like to watch. So that's kind of my video game.
So what is your favorite book to read that you've not written?
I'm actually not a big reader as well either. Because I have ADD and I always kind of like can't sit down too long to read. The ones that I would probably read, as I was telling your father earlier, I'm a big World War II history buff. So stuff about Pearl Harbor or the war in general, like we just chatted about. That's what I would normally sit down and read if I was going to.
Okay. So now can you tell me that one story, remember, this is a kid show, but that one story, well, that you're not supposed to tell me about. Come on, you can tell me. You can tell me.
Well, I would, it's a kid show. I have two or three I can tell you that probably wouldn't be appropriate. I'm trying to think here. How do I water it down for you? Well, I've been asked to make products for the skin that have had to do with stuff coming from the human body. So placenta from women, for example, which is what a baby is kind of born in. That's kind of the weirdest one I ever got to make a product line based in human placenta. That's pretty gross.
Yeah. Well, is there anything else you think my listeners should know about you?
Really just to not me in general, but really just follow your dreams, do what you have a passion for. You're already doing it, which is amazing. Obviously you have an amazing father here supporting you, which is great. So I think just always follow your dreams. And even if you're age or younger and you have you have something you want to do, don't let anybody talk you out of it.
Well, do you have a website or Facebook for my listeners who want to follow you?
I do. I have both. Everything is really just my name, which is Vince Spinnato, VINCE Spinnato, SPINNATO, and it's all .com for my website. It's also my Facebook, and also TikTok.
Well, what is the one question that you think I forgot to ask you?
Well, you actually been pretty thorough. I mean, that's a pretty good dissertation of questions you asked me. I don't think you missed anything. I think you did a really good job, actually, and really covered my whole career. From soup to nuts.
Well, thank you, Vince, for being my special guest. Can you stick around for Math Corners?
Of course, I'd love to.
The qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others. Bing, 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 ba-ding, bing, 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 bing.
Life is moving
I
along
couldn't.
here.
I couldn't. I had to.
That's perfect.
Tiberius' favorite subject, it's Math Corners!
Thank you, Vince, for helping me with Math Corners. This week, we're going to do some more multi-step word problems. My dad loves showing me how math can be used in the real world. Today, we're going to talk about perfume.
That's my subject.
Here we go. Tom has a perfume that sells for $15 per ounce, and he wants to mix it with the perfume that sells for $35 per ounce. Tom is going to sell the new mixed perfume in a 3-ounce bottle for $63. How much of each perfume would he use to keep the value at the same price? So this is a real world situation because people do like perfume, but I am not sure that they mix them up and keep the price the same. But let's try it anyway.
Right.
So first, let's say X is the amount of the $15 an ounce perfume, and Y is the amount of $35 an ounce perfume. Now the total ounces would be X plus Y equals 3. Now that we know to keep the price the same, we would then say that 15X plus 35Y equals 63. So we can solve for X first. Since X plus Y equals 3, we can subtract Y from both sides and say X equals 3 minus Y. Now we can go solve the second equation by replacing X with 3 minus Y. So now 15 times 3 minus y plus 35, y equals 63. Now we just simplify the distributive property and get 45 minus 15y plus 35y equals 63. Then we combine the two y's and subtract 45 from both sides, and then we get 20y equals 18. Now we divide by 20 and get a decimal. And I really hate decimals. And y equals 0.9 ounces. So now that we know that 0.9 ounces of the $35 perfume, and then to find x, we subtract that from 3 ounces, which is 2.1 ounces of the $15 perfume. That is a lot of perfume. Vince, do cosmetic chemists ever mix perfumes?
Not together. What we do is if you want to take certain notes from other fragrances and put them together, you can do that. But you would never put like pour one into the other. You wouldn't want to do that. You could get a smelly mess doing it that way. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. So Vince, my teacher said that I would use math every day. Do you use math as a cosmetic chemist?
Oh yeah, all the time. All of our formulations, of course, are math. And you mentioned did all your algebra here. I feel like I had a mild stroke. Listen to you. Had to go through that, you poor thing. But that was really good. It was really good. But we use math all the time, of course, with all the formulations. And when you do your cost of goods and how much something's going to cost and how much you're going to put into the formulation, that's all math. So we got to keep math going for sure.
Thank you. Well, thank you so much, Vince, for your help with Math Corners.
My pleasure, Tiberius. That was delightful.
And now it's time for the Heart of a Lion. As you know, we talk about the qualities of living, but the Heart of a Lion, which stands for leadership, integrity, obedience, and nobility. This week, we're going to talk about leadership. For me, I think leadership is the act of loving what is good, having self-control, and being disciplined. The qualities of leadership are providing guidance and direction, organization, and being a positive influence on others. Well, this last week, we had a fellowship retreat at my school. We got to get on a bus and visit a camp where we stayed there overnight. Our instructors laid out lots of events for us to do and complete with our new houses. Our team won the tug-of-war competition, and it was awesome. And we moved over 200 kids, getting them all places to sleep and stuff to do. Takes a lot of guidance and direction and major organization. Dr. Farron and Mr. Ross did a great job with the other teachers, giving us a great retreat where we got to bond with our new housemates. And that was a very positive influence. So Vince, did you see or use leadership at all this week?
Yes, we did. We actually kind of always do. Hopefully, I'm not only from myself and my company, and because I own my company, but also we have a lot of leaders in our company as well that have all individual different roles. So we have a lot of leadership going on weekly and daily, for sure.
Well, of all of the Heart of a Lion virtues, which virtue do you see the most?
I think integrity is the one I see the most with our team and with our business. So we want to make sure we always have integrity when we're talking to people, when we're putting a product line together, when we're running our business. Integrity is extremely important, and we do see that all the time with our team.
Mm-hmm. Well, we should always try and be lion strong in everything we do, shouldn't we?
I totally agree. Hakuna Matata.
And that's our show, folks. I want to thank the one, the only, the amazing Vince Spinnato for being on my show. It has been so much fun talking with you today. I think we learned a lot about being a cosmetic chemist and making cool products like skincare and perfumes.
Well, this was definitely a treat, my friend. You are good at what you do, and I think you're going to go a long way. This is amazing. I really enjoyed being on with you.
Do you mind giving your website again?
Yes, sure. Everything actually is my personal name, which is Vince Spinnato. This is Vince Spinnato, S like Sam, P like Paul, INNATO, and that's .com, and all our social media is also the same. It's just my name, Vince Spinnato.
Mm-hmm. Also, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram at The Tiberius Show. And please be sure to visit The Tiberius Show on YouTube and like and subscribe. Also, be sure to listen to us next week on The Tiberius Show with your host, Tiberius.